welcome back to the Novel Nomad, and welcome to another, wait, what day is it? 19th. It is the 19th of December. I know, I don't even know the dates anymore. I just know what puzzle I'm up to. That's how December rolls. Well, thankfully we have advent calendars to remind us what day it is. So it's the 19th of December, and the puzzle for today is this gorgeous bookshelf. I was going to do a bookshelf tour, but my library here is currently the craft site, the board game site, the filming site, and many other things in between. So I've decided, instead of doing a book tour, and I do apologize, if you would like a book tour, let me know down below and I will arrange it once Christmas is over and all of this is nicely packed away. That's going to be such a good feeling. I can put the craft table stuff back. The puzzle can go up in a nice display area. I'm ready for that time. But yes, otherwise, if you're wanting a book tour of all my shelves, please let me know. But today, instead, I've decided to do some books that I hold during the year, and I've kept the pile aside because I was wanting to do a video. I just never got around to it. And that is the books that I purchased when I went to Singapore in June. It was a very unexpected trip. Last minute, I got tickets to go see a musician that I absolutely love, Sugar from BTS. I was able to see that concert. It was amazing. I was shocked I even got tickets, to be completely fair. But I also went to some amazing bookshops when I was over there. Mainly the Kinokuniya in Singapore Central. That bookshop was amazing. Like amazing. I didn't even make it all the way into the store before I had like 5 books in my arms. So let's just go through some of the books that I purchased. Well, no, all of the books I purchased in Singapore. So first off, I got this absolutely stunning edition of The Cat Who Saved All the Books. This is by Yuko Shimizu. I saw the illustrations on her website and I love her book illustrations. They are just stunning. So this is a novel by Sosuke Natsukawa, and I honestly bought it for the cover, if I'm just not gonna lie, but I do love Japanese translated books, and so this one was such a find. I'm not a fan of, I was going to get this cover anyway if I was going to get this book, and I'm not a fan of the UK Australian edition, mainly because I wanted this one. It's just so beautiful. I just love this one. So yeah, I really can't wait to read this one. Another wonderful Japanese translated fiction for my shelf. Next, I got The Interpreter of Winds by Feroz Ahmad. It's a tiny little book actually, and it just really fascinated me. So I got this from Wada Books, which is a Muslim bookstore, and it was really beautiful bookstore in the Arab Street area. And this was a really interesting book premise that sold me on this book, because the writer Ahmad really takes everyday things, so a little bit of magic realism here, and really closely examines them, and in how, in our different stages of life, like why we gravitate towards certain things. And so I think it's a series of short stories or little vignettes of experiences, of objects, of moments in time that kind of reflect human elements, like not themselves, but actually how the human concept within their item really defines it in a way. So yeah, I think it's a really fascinating subject that just drew me in, and the cover is beautiful. But yeah, it's definitely a fascinating thought concept that drew me to this book. So I got 2 more books from Wada Books, and the second one is In the Country of Men by Hisham Matar, and this is based in Tripoli in 1979, when the main character Suleiman's father gets taken away and when the dictator comes to power. And the cover is stunning, absolutely stunning. This is a Penguin Essentials edition, but absolutely beautiful cover. I think it's going to be really heartrending to read about this young boy growing up with his father's sudden disappearance and not knowing what's happened to him, but also growing up in this very shrinking world under this dictator. So yeah, it sounds absolutely beautiful, and it is also a very beautiful book. So the other one I got at Wada was Zaha. J.R.R. The Windseeker by Nnedi Okorafor Mbatu. So this one sounds really good. I think it's marketed as middle grade to probably not YA, but going into that like older teen zone. And from birth, Ra is always known that she's different. There's a magical quality about her. Her parents have known, but she otherwise looks normal until something happens in her village, in her country, and she's kind of realizes that she is different. She does have this magical ability. So I think it's going to be really fun having it. It's almost magic realism, but not. I'd love to, I'm very excited to read this one and find out more on this mysterious like YA. I've never actually seen this book before, so if you've seen it, let me know. If you've heard of it, that would be great. But yeah, I've never heard of it, and it just sounded so fascinating, so I had to pick it up. Next is The Fox Tower and Other Tales by Yoon-ha Lee. It's a selection of Korean short stories, very magical short stories, and that cover is just stunning. And I think it's quite cute. These are very, very short, like very almost Aesop's fables kind of short stories. But I found this at Kinokuniya, unsurprisingly, and it's so hard to find really good stockers of Asian translated literature or fiction or non-fiction or anything like that. So I just took stock of all the things I could get when I was there, and this definitely piqued my interest. So speaking of Asian literature, I got a book that's written by a Singaporean author called After the Inquiry, and this one sounds very interesting. So a young police officer is found to have been shot in the head, still alive, and he's in a coma. And so the inquiry just basically turns up that, it was just a silly game of Russian roulette, and it kind of sweeps it under the rug until there's rumors flying about within the political sphere, and these two detectives are called up to look into it again, and they kind of have to go into the bureaucracy of the Singaporean government, which sounds very interesting. But yes, and the cover is amazing. But yeah, I was definitely looking forward to reading some Singaporean literature as well when I was over there, or at least finding someone else over there, because like I said, once again, it's the best place to find amazing local writers when you're actually in the country. So I saw this one. I mean, there was many Singaporean books that I wanted to get, but this one stood out from the crowd. One that I surprisingly read straight away, and I actually ended up not getting the Australian cover because I really loved this cover, and that is The Boy and the Dog by Seishu Haze. This one was such a beautiful read. It's a short story collection, almost connected short stories, chapters, vignettes, following this dog over 2 years. And it's a very beautiful book. It's very sad. So I do warn everyone, if you are going to read this one, it is a sad read, but it's still really heartwarming at the same time. So yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So I'm very glad I picked up the copy that I wanted, because I think this is going to stay on the shelf. Next is a book called Salvage from the Fall by Dawn Farnham. This is actually based in World War II occupied Singapore, and it's the women have to come together to help a child of one of their own, because Japanese occupation was trying to separate the people and make people distrustful of each other. So they have to find that bonds of loyalty between each other again to help save a child from one of their own friendship group. So yes, this one sounds very good, and also I'm very excited to read something from World War II Singapore. I've only read one book from that era before, and it was very, very brutal and very eye-opening, but it was really good at the same time. I think it shattered a lot of myths surrounding that experience, and so I'm very excited to read this one. I'm sure it will give me a bit more of a perspective of occupied Singapore during World War II. The other two were ones that I just saw that I really wanted, and that is Jeff Vandermeer's The Venus Underground. I had just finished Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation book 2, I think, by this time, and I saw this, and this is an amazing cover from the US, and I just bought it because Jeff Vandermeer, and yes, I wanted all the weird stories, and this cover's awesome. So that's why I picked that one up. And the other one is one that I cannot wait to add to my collection because I have started a collection of Ursula Le Guin. And this is Ursula Le Guin's The Wind's 12 Quarter Stories. This is actually an olive edition. I did not realize they did Ursula Le Guin with olive editions. It's not olive, it is purple, but it's such a cool cover, and it's in a limited edition print. So I was very happy to find this one. Once again, at Kinokuniya. It's such a joy, that bookshop. I didn't get very far in. I could have easily spent a lot more money there, but I was also restricted on how much I could bring back. So that was my last book. I did get a exhibition book. I went to the National Gallery of Victoria. I went to the National Gallery of Singapore and I got their exhibition book, which is actually on Singaporean art and Singaporean self-expression through colonial times. And so I think that was a very good pile. So let me know down below if you would like to have a bookshelf tour. I will be hopefully doing one soon once all the Christmas wonderful magic is packed away and I have my space again. But otherwise, let me know if you've read any of these books and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the puzzle. Bye.